Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Welcome to our Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya, Srimad Bhagavatam English class. So we are continuing Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto. We are chapter 32 slok. So we'll read. I'm sharing the screen. So you can able to see screen. At first, we'll recite Mangalacharan. Om Namah Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayo Mudire Nashta Prayeshu Avadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Nastiki Mukam Karati Vachalam Pungam Langayate Grim Yatkripatamaham Vande Sigurum Dinatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Vicharu Shaminiti Namine Snigta Cheta Supranito Bhagminam Charasapratam Udupadagato Prano Nomi Bhakti Charu Padam Namayam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanto Shaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine. So you are seeing the Srimad Bhagavatam, fourth canto, 12th chapter. Dhruva Maharaj goes back to Godhead. So we'll continue from slok number 32. Swacha Swarga Lokam Arukshan Sunitim Janinam Dhruva Anvasmarad Agam Hitva Dinam Yashetri Vishtapam. Translation: Dhruva was seated in the transcendental airplane, which was just about to start, when he remembered his poor mother, Suniti, thought to himself, how shall I go alone to the Vaikuntha planet and leave behind my poor mother? But His Divine Grace by A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Dhruva had a feeling of obligation to his mother, Suniti. It was Suniti who had given him the clue which had now enabled him to be personally carried to the Vaikuntha planet by the associates of Lord Vishnu. He now remembered her and wanted to take her with him. Actually, Dhruva Maharaj's mother, Suniti, was his Path Pradarshak Guru. Path Pradarshak Guru means the Guru or the spiritual master who shows the way. Such a Guru is sometimes called Siksha Guru, although Narada Muni was his Diksha Guru, initiating spiritual master. Suniti, his mother, was the first who gave the instruction on how to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. It is the duty of the Siksha Guru or Diksha Guru to instruct the disciple in the right way, and it depends on the disciple to execute the process. According to Shastric injunctions, there is no difference between Siksha Guru and Diksha Guru. And generally, the Siksha Guru later on becomes the Diksha Guru. Suniti, however, being a woman and specifically his mother, could not become Dhruva Maharaj's Diksha Guru. Still, he was not less obliged to Suniti. There was no question of carrying Narad Muni to Vaikuntha Loka. But Dhruva Maharaj thought of his mother. Whatever plan Supreme Personality of Godhead contemplates his mother fructifies. Similarly, a devotee who is completely dependent on the Supreme Lord can also fulfill his wishes by the grace of the Lord. The Lord fulfills his wishes independently, but a devotee fulfills his wishes simply by being dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, as soon as Dhruva Maharaj thought of his poor mother, he was assured by the associates of Vishnu that Suniti was along going to Vaikuntha Loka in another plane. Dhruva Maharaj had thought that he was going alone to Vaikuntha Loka, leaving behind his mother, which was not very auspicious because people would criticize him for going alone to Vaikuntha Loka and not carrying with him Suniti, who had given him so much. But Dhruva also considered that he was not personally the supreme. Therefore, only if Krishna fulfilled his desires would it be possible. Krishna could immediately understand his mind, and he told Dhruva that his mother was also going with him. This incident proves that a pure devotee like Dhruva Maharaj can fulfill all his desires by the grace of the Lord. He becomes exactly like the Lord, and thus whenever he thinks of anything, his wish is immediately fulfilled. Text 33. Iti vyavasitam tasya vyavasaya surattamo darshayam asatur devim puroyayena gacchatim. Translation and purport. The great associates of Vaikuntha Loka, Narad and Sunanda, could understand the mind of Dhruva Maharaj, and thus they assured him that his mother Suniti was going forward in another plane. Purport. This incident proves that the Siksha and Diksha Guru, or Diksha Guru, who has a disciple who strongly executes devotional service like Dhruva Maharaj, can be carried by the disciple even though the instructor is not as advanced. Although Suniti was an instructor to Dhruva Maharaj, she could not go to the forest because she was a woman, nor could he execute austerities and penances as Dhruva Maharaj did. Still, Dhruva Maharaj was able to take his mother with him. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj also delivered his atheistic father, Hiranyakashipu. The conclusion is that a disciple or an offspring who is a very strong devotee can carry with him to Vaikuntha Loka either his father, mother, or Siksha Diksha Guru. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur used to say, if I could perfectly deliver even one soul back to Godhead, I would think my mission, propagating Krishna consciousness, to be successful. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading now all over the world, and sometimes I think that even though I am crippled in many ways, if one of my disciples becomes as strong as Dhruva Maharaj, then he will be able to carry me with him to Vaikuntha Loka. Text 34. Tatra tatra prasamsa vidhi pathi vaimani kai surai avakiryamano dadreshe kusumai kramasho grihan. Translation. While Dhruva Maharaj was passing through space, he gradually saw all the planets of the solar system, and on the path he saw all the demigods in their airplanes showering flowers upon him like rain. Purport. There is a Vedic version. Yasmin vijnate sarvam evam vijnatam bhavati, which means that by knowing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, everything becomes known to the devotee. Similarly, by going to the planet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, one can know all the other planetary systems on the path to Vaikuntha. We would remember that Dhruva Maharaj's body was different from our bodies. While boarding the Vaikuntha airplane, his body changed to a completely spiritual golden hue. No one can surpass the higher planets in a material body. But when one gets his spiritual body, he can travel not only to the higher planetary system of this material world, but even to the still higher planetary system known as Vaikuntha Loka. It is all known that Narad Muni travels everywhere, both in the spiritual and material worlds. It should be noted also that while Suniti was going to Vaikuntha Loka, she also changed her body into a spiritual form, like Sri Suniti. Every mother should train her child to become a devotee like Dhruva Maharaj. Suniti instructed her son, even at the age of 5 years, to be unattached to worldly affairs and to go to the forest to search out the Supreme Lord. She never desired that her son remain at home comfortably without ever undertaking austerities and penances to achieve the favor of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Every mother like Suniti must take care of her son and train him to become a brahmachari from the age of 5 years and to undergo austerities and penances for spiritual realization. The benefit will be that if her son becomes a strong devotee like Dhruva, certainly not only will he be transferred back home, back to Godhead, but she will also be transferred with him to the spiritual world. Even though she may be unable to undergo austerities and penances in executing devotional service. Slok 35. Lokim devayanina shotibragya munim api parastad yad dhruva gatir vishnupadam athavyagat. Dhruva Maharaj thus surpassed the seven planetary systems of the great sages who are known as Saptarshi. Beyond that region, he achieved the transcendental situation of permanent life in the planet where Lord Vishnu lives. Purport. The airplane was piloted by the two chief associates of Lord Vishnu, namely Sunanda and Nanda. Only such spiritual astronauts can pilot their airplane beyond the seven planets and arrive in the region of eternal blissful life. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita also, Parastasmatu Havonya, that beyond this planetary system begins the spiritual sky where everything is permanent and blissful. The planets there are known as Vishnu Loka or Vaikuntha Loka. Only there can one get an eternal blissful life of knowledge. Below Vaikuntha Loka is the material universe, where Lord Brahma and others in Brahma Loka can live until the annihilation of this universe. But that life is not permanent. That is also confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Avrahma Bhuvana Loka. Even if one goes to the topmost planet, one cannot achieve eternal life. Only by arriving in Vaikuntha Loka can one live an eternally blissful life. Text 36. Yadbhrajamanam swaruchaiva sarvato lokastrayo hai anubibrajanta ete yannabhrarajan jantushu ye nanugraha brajanti bhadrani charanti ye nisham. Translation: the self-effulgent Vaikuntha planets, by whose illumination alone all the illuminating planets within this material world give up reflected light, cannot be reached by those who are not merciful to other living entities. Only persons who constantly engage in welfare activities for other living entities can reach the Vaikuntha planets. Purport. It is a description of two aspects of the Vaikuntha planets. The first is that in the Vaikuntha sky there is no need of the sun and moon. This is confirmed by the Upanishad as well as Bhagavad Gita, Natad Bhashayate Surya, Nasasanko Napavaka. In the spiritual world, the Vaikuntha lokas are themselves illuminated. There is therefore no need of sun, moon, or electric light. It is in fact the illumination of the Vaikuntha lokas which is reflected in the material sky. Only by this reflection are the suns in the material universes illuminated. After the illumination of the sun, all the stars and moons are illuminated. In other words, all the luminaries in the material sky borrow illumination from Vaikuntha Loka. From this material world, however, people can be transferred to the Vaikuntha Loka if they incessantly engage in welfare activities for all other living entities. Such incessant welfare activities can really be performed only in Krishna consciousness. There is no philanthropic work within this material world, but Krishna consciousness that can engage a person 24 hours a day. A Krishna conscious being is always engaged in planning how to take all of suffering humanity back home, back to Godhead. Even if one is not successful in reclaiming all the fallen souls back to Godhead, still because he is Krishna conscious, his path to Vaikuntha Loka is open. He personally becomes qualified to enter the Vaikuntha Lokas, and if anyone follows such devotee, he also enters into Vaikuntha Loka. Others who engage in envious activities are known as karmis. Karmis are envious of one another simply for sense gratification. They can kill thousands of innocent animals. Gyanis are not as sinful as karmis, but they do not try to reclaim others back to Godhead. They perform austerities for their own liberation. Yogis are also engaged in self-aggrandizement by trying to attain mystic powers. But devotees, Vaishnavas, who are servants of the Lord, come forward in the actual field of work in Krishna consciousness to reclaim fallen souls. Only Krishna conscious persons are eligible to enter into the spiritual world. That is clearly stated in this verse and is confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, wherein the Lord says that there is no one dearer to him than those who preach the gospel of Bhagavad Gita to the world. Text 37. Santa Samadrisha Suddha Sarvabhutanurajana Yanti Anjasa Achyuta Padam Achyuta Priya Vandava. Translation: persons who are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities, keep friendship only with devotees of the Lord. They alone can very easily achieve the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. But the description of this verse fully indicates that only devotees are eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead. The first point stated is that devotees are peaceful, for they have no demands for their personal sense gratification. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord. Karmis cannot be peaceful because they have immense demands for sense gratification. As for Gyanis, they cannot be peaceful because they are too busy trying to attain liberation or merge into the existence of the Supreme. Similarly, yogis are also restless to get mystic power. But a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of God and thinks of himself as completely helpless. Just as a child feels complete peace in depending on the parent, so a devotee is peaceful, for it depends on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee is equipoised. He sees everyone on the same transcendental platform. A devotee knows that although a conditioned soul has a particular type of body according to his past fruitive activities, factually, everyone is part of the Supreme Lord. A devotee sees all living entities with spiritual vision and does not discriminate on the platform of the bodily concept of life. Such qualities develop only in the association of devotees. Without the association of devotees, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Actually, whoever lives in this society automatically develop Krishna consciousness. Devotees are dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only dear to the devotees. On this platform, only can one make progress in Krishna consciousness. Persons in Krishna consciousness or devotees of the Lord can please everyone. As is evident in the Krishna consciousness movement, we invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take as much prasad as we can supply. And thus everyone is pleased with us. This is the qualification Sarva Bhutanu Rajana. As per purification, no one can be more pure than devotees. Anyone who once utters the name of the Vishnu immediately becomes purified. Inside and outside, Yas Maret Pundari Kaksham. Since a devotee constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra, no contamination of the material world can touch him. He is therefore actually purified. Muchi hai, suchi hai, jodi Krishna bhaje. It is said that even a cobbler or person born in the family of a cobbler can be elevated to the position of a Brahmana or Suchi if it takes to Krishna consciousness. Any person who purely Krishna conscious and who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the purest in the whole universe. Text 38. Iti uttana pada putro dhruva krishna parayana abhutrayanam lokanam shudamanir ivamala. Translation: in this way, the fully Krishna conscious Dhruva Maharaj, the exalted son of Maharaj Uttanpada, attained the summit of the three statues of planetary systems. Purport: the exact Sanskrit terminology for Krishna consciousness is here mentioned. Krishna Parayana. Parayana means going forward. Anyone who is going forward to the goal of Krishna is called Krishna Parayana or fully Krishna conscious. The example of Dhruva Maharaj indicates that every Krishna conscious person can expect to reach the topmost summit of all three planetary systems within this universe. A Krishna conscious person can occupy an exalted position beyond the imagination of any ambitious materialist. Text 39. Gambhira veguni misham yutisham chaksharam ahitam yasmin bhramati kauravya medhyam iva gavam gana. Translation: Saint Maitreya continued, my dear Vidura, descendant of Kuru, as a herd of bulls circumambulates a central pole on their right side, all the luminaries within the universal sky unceasingly circumambulate the abode of Dhruva Maharaj with great force and speed. Purport: each and every planet within the universe travels at a very high speed. From a statement in Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that even the sun travels 16,000 miles in a second. And from Brahma Samhita, we understand from the sloka beginning Yakchakshur Esha Sabita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samast Suramurti Asesha Teja Jasya Ghaya Sambhramati Sandhrita Kala Chakro Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. That the sun is considered to be the eye of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, and it is also a specific orbit within which it circles. Similarly, all other planets have their specific orbits, but together all of them encircle the pole star or Dhruva Loka, where Dhruva Maharaj is situated at the summit of the three worlds. We can only imagine how highly exalted the actual position of a devotee is, and certainly we cannot even conceive how exalted is the position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So today we'll stop here. So tomorrow from text 40 we'll continue. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai, Prabhupada Shri Guru Maharaj ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai.